There is an important code that has been passed on to generations before us that started in the Middle Ages. It is a list that could help you get that prom date, a personal message via Facebook, or even a tweet that puts a smile to your face. Who could have thought that a list created during the Middle Ages could help the relations of today's teenagers? Do you know the code? The code of honor has existed since medieval times and relates to a knight. Their code is believed by some to have died, while others believe it may never die. Gina Luttrell, PhD, in October of 2013 stated, "Chivalry, despite what some may think, is not dead. In fact, it may be more important now than ever. But chivalry is not what you think. Now, in order to get that smoking hot prom date, one must first examine the history of chivalry, acts of chivalry, and how it exists today in a different form. Chivalry was first developed in France amongst cavalry soldiers in Charlemagne's army, who, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, had the need to defend his realm against external foes and internal separatists, a desire for conquest and booty, a keen sense of opportunities provided by changing power relations, and an urge to spread Christianity. Now, the word chivalry itself derives from the French term chevalerie, which directly translates into horse soldier. Chivalry was originally an aristocratic warrior code involving gallantry and individual service to others, but has since been refined to emphasize the knightly ideals of honor, courtly love, and courtesy. The Knight's Code of Chivalry was a moral system that stated they should protect all others that cannot protect themselves. Now, becoming a knight was a long and arduous process. Medieval Life and Times explains that at the age of 7, young boys were sent to the castles of wealthy lords in order to become a page, or a servant to a lord. At 14, they would become a squire, or an apprentice knight, who would travel with knights on their quests and tournaments. And finally, at the age of 21, they could begin their training to become an actual knight. Chivalrous knights were expected to honor a woman's company, and look to the Virgin Mary as a source of refuge in their times of need. These knights were expected to perform acts of chivalry wherever they went. Now, we often hear today that chivalry is dead. But what consists of a chivalrous act? Here are some of the acts of chivalry that are seen today. Holding the door open for a man or a woman before they enter the building. Older generations particularly love this act of chivalry. There's also the classic cliche of putting your coat over a puddle so she does not get her Gucci shoes all wet and muddy. For teenagers, these shoes might be the generic knockoffs of Uggs, or slippers that look like Uggs but shouldn't be worn outside in the first place. Always rise to your feet when a woman enters the room. When at the dinner table, pull out her chair for her, and then push it back in when she is sitting down. Always walk on the outside of a woman when walking on a sidewalk to protect her from puddles and splashes of oncoming cars. When dropping her off back at home, always walk her to her front door, but do not kiss her if it is the first date. Unfortunately, these days, most men do not perform these acts on a regular basis. The reason for this could be that they do not want to offend women, who today, according to freelance journalist Kathy Young, in June of 2000 stated, may seek equality with men in the public world, meaning that women today do not want to be treated as lesser than men or helpless for themselves. So how has chivalry changed today? Some could say that it is completely dead. In June of 2012, Phil Gretsch explains that both men and women will be holding the door open for each other, behaving politely, and performing random little acts of kindness for each other for years to come, even if some people grumble that it doesn't happen anymore. The old version of chivalry, where a man would do everything for a woman, has died off long ago, along with its practitioners. Even today's teenagers are being chivalrous on online social networking sites. Now, let's say you are a ravishing 16-year-old boy, scrolling through the pages of Facebook, Twitter, or even Tumblr, and you see the face of a beautiful girl
suddenly appear on your screen?
Well, by selecting like or favorite, you are sending a message to this person saying, "My compliments on your facial anatomy." This act of chivalry can be compared to the latter years of chivalry, such as a knight who would honor a woman's company. A knight would always treat a lady with the utmost kindness and respect.